So first, I apologize for my hair. It's doing weird stuff. I just washed it, and because my hair is like this awkward middle ground between pixie and shoulder length, it's just weird stuff. Anyway, I decided that I'm gonna start doing story times every once in a while because I see that they are popular, everyone seems to like them, and I have a lot of crazy life stories, so why not? So today, my first ever story time is going to be about when I got dumped during intermission of a show that I was in high school. Now, to protect the name of the people, particularly the guy that dumped me, let's call him Dan. Now, Dan and I had an off and on again relationship through most of high school until he graduated. And this was during my sophomore year of high school. We were in a production of Romeo and Juliet. And I was in the ensemble because there really just wasn't a role that fit me and my look and abilities at the time. Anyways, so I was in the ensemble and he was one of the main characters. And like, we had broken up a lot of times throughout high school. This is one of the most dramatic ones. During a performance, I tried to talk to him, like, during intermission or something, because, like, we never really were on stage together, so, like, I didn't really get to see him much during the performances. So during intermission, I went to go say hi to him, and he kind of, like, pushed me away and didn't want to talk to me. And it was very weird because, like, we hadn't been in a fight, nothing like that, so I was very confused, and I spent the whole night, like, trying to talk to him, and he kept ignoring me. And so I was like, that's weird, whatever. And so I texted him, like, after the show, because he wouldn't talk to me after the show, and he ignored me all night. And then we had a double show day that day, the next day, because sometimes we would do double shows where we would have a matinee, then a couple hours break for, like, dinner, and then another show, usually on, like, a Saturday. And we had a double show day that day, so I was going to be at the theater all day long. I get there for the show, he's still ignoring me. Then I get to in between the two show days, and he tells me that his parents found out about us because we were kind of in a secret relationship at that point because his parents didn't really like us together. They kind of didn't like me from the beginning. So at this point in one of our many get back together points, we were kind of in a secret relationship. And he said that his parents found out about us. And I was like, oh, that's weird because we've been pretty good at keeping a secret, but whatever. I was like, okay. And he's like, so we have to break up. And I was really upset about it. And I was like, okay, well, let's spend as much time together as we can, while we're in the show together, have an excuse to see each other. And he was like, no. And he literally, like, ignored me the whole in between the double show dates. And then, like, I'm upset. And then I find out that the actual reason he wanted to break up with me is because he had fallen in love with someone else. Now, let's remember the fact that literally we hadn't gotten into a fight, and we were perfectly happy a couple days before, and then all of a sudden he had fallen in love with someone else. He had gone to someone else's house, like, a couple days before that and hung out with a bunch of the cast. I was sick or something, so I wasn't there, but they were all hanging out together. And apparently he fell in love with one of the other girls in the show in that one instance of hanging out for a couple of hours. And so he was using the parents thing as an excuse to dump me. Now, I was very upset about this because, I was like 16 and everything was the end of the freaking world. Like, I cried so much during the time of this relationship. Like, I was dramatic and emo all throughout high school, as any teenager would be. So I was very upset about this. And so during intermission of the second performance of the day, I confronted him and I was like, hey, I found out that you are, in love with someone else, and that's really why you want to dump me. And he's like, oh, I didn't want to tell you, but yeah. And so he officially broke up with me during intermission of a show we were in together, so I had to be around him. So, yeah, he broke up with me, and then he's like, oh, can I have a goodbye kiss? And I was like, no, and I pushed him away, and I walked out the door, and Unfortunately, we got back together a couple of more times after that. I don't know why I forgave him for that, but I did. But the worst part is that after the performance, we had a cast party at Taco Bell, and literally it was him and everybody else hanging out over there, and it was me and my mom at another table, and me crying while eating tacos. I didn't go to Taco Bell for a while after that. Too many bad memories. But it was just ridiculous. There was so much drama in that relationship. It just makes me laugh at this point, but while I was in high school, to me, it was the end of the freaking world. Like, the whole world came crashing down every time we broke up, and it was just so much drama. Anyway, I have a lot of dramatic stories, particularly from high school, but throughout my whole life that I can't wait to share with you in story times. I'm not going to do a story time every week because, you know, sometimes I like to review movies or games or books, so sometimes I won't be doing story times, but I'm going to try and do them more often because it's really fun talking about my very dramatic life, specifically my dramatic high school life. But anyway, that's it. I will see you next week.